Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my very first YouTube video. As you can hear, I have a pretty aggressive cold, but I hope that you'll bear with me because I really wanted to do a voice recording and not just text on this one. So what I want to do today is talk a little bit about both myself and what I do, but also what I want this channel to be about. And so, my name is Hannah, and I live in a small town in Sweden with my partner and our daughter of 2 years. My main interests besides art is the supernatural and reading. You're going to see a lot of that in my art. And while I work, my favorite thing to listen to is paranormal podcasts, and my favorites are A Funny Feeling with Marcy and Betsy, and also Astonishing Legends with Forrest and Scott. So if you've heard of them, please let me know in the comments because I would be so excited. I like to nerd out over them. I also listen to a lot of audiobooks, and right now I am listening to Terry Pratchett books again. And I just adore the way he writes and the worlds he builds, and they're so funny and so wise, and I love how he can combine the two. So let me know too if you read his books and you like them as much as I do. They're so amazing, and if you haven't read them, I highly recommend them because they're so enjoyable. What I really want to do is make children's books and picture books, and I figured that this would actually be a pretty good venue both to show you the creations of that, and also I thought maybe I could read some of them on this channel. I think that would be really fun, so I hope you'll come along with me on that journey. I've actually wanted to make a YouTube channel for a really long time, but the technical stuff isn't really my strong suit, and I find that filming while I work can be a bit distracting. Like, it takes me out of my focus, but I really want to give it a shot because I like sharing my process, because I really enjoy taking part of other artists' process and see how they work and how they build up their artwork. But with that in mind, this channel isn't going to contain any tutorials. That's not my mission here, because partly I don't really have a set way in which I do my art. I don't follow a strict set of rules. The way I create my art really depends on the art itself, what I'm trying to say with it, whether I'm doing studies. Every study I'm going to start differently, and I'm going to proceed differently depending on the medium I use, and what kind of story I want to tell with my art. So I just don't feel that a tutorial is going to really suit my purposes. Besides, there are already so many terrific tutorials out there, and they already do it so much better than I could, so I encourage you to check them out instead if you want a step-by-step tutorial. With that in mind, I might still, talk a little bit about how I created artwork. That is what I want to do. I want to show you how I work, but not in a way so that you can follow me step by step, if that makes sense. I would like to have some draw-alongs, though. I think that would be fun, but for that, and for a lot of other things that I'm planning on doing here, I really need to get a better camera setup. At the very end of this video, I'm going to show you what I'm actually using, and it explains the bad angle, so I do apologize for that, but I hope you can see well enough for now. So as you can see for this video, I'm making a study, and I'm using a reference that I bought off of the website Grafit Studio. They're a really great reference website for artists, and the packs that they sell, they charge you depending on whether you're a huge company with a lot of employees that are going to use the images, or whether you're just you alone, and then you pay a lot less. And I think it's a really ethical way and very nice way to do it. So they have very affordable images, and they're free to use for commercial work, or if you just want to use them personally for your own studies. So Grafit Studio, I will try to link them in the comments below, see if I can figure that out. I know that there are a lot of other creators out there who are sponsored by them. I'm not. I just really like them, but you can go and find some discount codes out there. I think Chris Hong has one. If you check out her YouTube channel, she does amazing art, so I highly recommend that if you haven't found her here on YouTube yet. Yeah, so I decided to make this into a bookmark because I had this actually piece of paper lying around, and it was the perfect size for a bookmark. The paper is really bad though. It has some really weird bleeding, like pieces of it will darken up in weird ways. But I'm working in gouache, so I think I managed to cover those blotchy areas up pretty well. You can still see them in some places, but it doesn't really matter that much because it kind of suited the skin texture a little bit. But yeah, sometimes the material's really working against you, and sometimes I think it can be like a fun challenge to try to overcome that, and sometimes you don't want that in your process. It's really nice and satisfying when you have great paper and paint that just works with you. I think the worst thing for me is bad paint, especially acrylic paint. It's such a struggle for me. I really want to learn how to use it, but the colors I have are really bad. I think hobby grades, like they're not artist grades at all, and they're still, you can still use them, but I fight with them all the time, and so I really want to try to use some artist grade ones and just see the difference, if it makes working with acrylic any more enjoyable. But for this piece I'm working with gouache, and if you don't know what that is basically an opaque watercolor, so you can use it as watercolor, which I've been doing in the early layers of the study, and then as I go along I use them more and more opaquely, and I mix white with some colors to add the final highlights. I think you very rarely want to use pure white because it makes it look very unnatural. Like you very rarely see pure white light. So whenever you do highlights, you want to use that very sparingly and mixing a little bit of color to just give it that, nice deep sense, realistic sense. So some fun facts about me. I've studied art in Stockholm for a couple of years, and then after that I moved to America and studied art at a college in Florida. And that was an amazing experience, and I made some really lovely friends. As you can hear, I picked up some really great pronunciation the 4 years I spent over in America. But anyways, before that though, I took a lot of art classes as a child. I remember almost always being the youngest there, and I loved it. I'm not sure exactly why, but I guess I felt like as I was listening in on the others' conversation, I got to take part of this other world that I wasn't really in yet, and it felt magical. I have such fond memories of that time. The last apartment I lived in was situated over a funerary home, and now this other apartment that we moved to after that one, we live across from a graveyard. So there's a theme going on there. Technology really stresses me out. It took a long time for me to embrace smartphones, and really phones in general. I remember when I was younger, I would, whenever I went on a trip or a weekend away, I would avoid taking my phone with me to avoid that stress, and then when I got back, I would have friends panicking because they thought I was ignoring them on purpose. But ironically, now I always carry my phone with me, but mostly because that's where I listen to all my audiobooks and podcasts. But I'm actually, as I'm painting this study here, I'm actually listening to music instead. I do that sometimes too, mostly when I'm having a hard time focusing on the audio. So it's a bit more relaxing. I will show you which artists I'm listening to in the little text down there, so you can check them out if you're interested. At the moment, I'm also trying to learn Spanish, and I'm using Duolingo, which is a really great app. I find it so useful and a lot of fun to use, and I'm currently at a 426 streak. I'm pretty proud about that. But I'm also trying to learn it through listening to Spanish podcasts and Spanish music, and I bought a bunch of Spanish books that I want to get through. I've read a couple of the graphic novels already, but I'm still working my way up to the actual novels, but I'm getting there, and it's so much fun. I want to keep learning languages after this. I can't decide which language to choose afterwards. It's really between French, which I've been wanting to learn ever since I started studying Spanish in school. But I'm also thinking of German and Arabic, because both would be very, very useful in different ways. But I don't know, I figure I still have a long life to live, hopefully, so I can hopefully learn more languages. It takes time, but I hear that it gets easier after each language that you master. So I've been babbling on for a while now. I don't know how much talking I'll be doing in the videos that comes, but I think this is enough for now. So please enjoy the rest of the process and let me know what you think. I know that I do have a lot to work on with this, both, visually and audio and the way I put everything together. So just let me know what you think, and thank you so much for stopping by and listening and watching, and please enjoy the rest of the video.